Hey folks, it's Ray at DCRainmaker.com here, and today your very first look at the new GoPro Light Mod. You remember this past fall when GoPro announced the Hero 8, they also announced a mod lineup of accessories. These are things that would essentially wrap around. There's three different ones. There's a media mod that wraps around the GoPro Hero 8. It then gives it a shotgun mic. It gives it some accessory ports, including a mic port, a HDMI port, a cold shoe on the top, a cold shoe on the side. It's basically like a frame that goes around it to give it more ports. Cool stuff, 79 bucks. And they also announced a light mod, which was 49 bucks. And then they announced a display mod that pops up off the back to give you like a little selfie screen. That was also, I think, 79 bucks. Now, the light mod is shipping as of this past weekend. The media mod doesn't ship till the end of January. And then the display mod is now in March or something like that. So it's a ways out there. But the light's here now. Now, there is a couple catches. First off, the light without the mod is kind of tricky to use because you need the mod to be able to hook it onto your GoPro. But it can still work, and I'll kind of show you how this works in case you want to pick it up now as opposed to waiting in January. But first, let's talk about what you get. You don't get that stuff. You get this right here. So you have the light, and it has a small cold shoe on the bottom. So if you just go and slide this out, you can see it is a standard cold shoe. So if I take just my camera over here, I can go ahead and I can slide it into any adapter, any camera that has a cold shoe adapter on it. No problem at all, pretty straightforward. It's also got then this small little adapter, which then goes to a standard GoPro mount. So the idea there being I can put it like this, and I can take it and put it inside any GoPro mount. This is actually GoPro's new swivel. Oops, got to put the screw in there. This is GoPro's new swivel magnetic clip mount. So the idea being that you can clip it onto something, obviously. You can swivel it, which is pretty cool. It goes up like this and that. And then if I had something magnetic here, there we go. It just attaches like that. It's kind of cool. Like I used it a bunch of times in the last week just to be able to like stick it on stuff randomly and get either a camera shot, because of course you can put a camera on this, not just the light. Anyways, the point is that's out there. That's not part of this. So FYI on that. But you also then get the diffuser. And the diffuser basically acts as a small diffuser plates to go ahead and diffuse the light to soften the light up so it's not so harsh. And I would definitely recommend this, as you'll see in some of the sample footage. Oh, and before we get too far along in this video, if you're finding this interesting, whack that like button right now. It really does help out the video and the channel quite a bit. Then, like all the GoPro stuff in the last while, there's a small USB-C charging port on the inside. Take this cable here that comes with, plug it in, and you can go ahead and charge it up. To use it, it's super straightforward. You've got this button on top there. When you hold it down for just a couple seconds, it turns on. You can see there's a small green light right there that tells you the battery status. And then there's 3 light levels. Well, technically there's actually 4 according to GoPro's website, but only 3 work for me. And then there's a flashy mode that's kind of bat crap crazy. I've asked GoPro what the dealio is with this because it says 4 on the site, obviously only 3 here. I haven't heard back yet, but once I do, I'll update that in the future video, probably with the media mods and stuff like that. In any case, you can see the 3 levels here. This is the base level. I press it again to get to the medium level. I press it one more time to get to the high level. I'll put the lumens if you haven't seen them on the side there. The Kelvin value for this is 5,000 with a CRI of 90. So for me, this is pretty much perfect. It's going to go ahead and mirror and kind of mimic that outdoor daylight, as well as what I use here in the studio at 5,000 also. And then finally, you press it one more time and you get the crazy blinky light. And at first I was like, this is officially the stupidest thing I've seen. But GoPro's thinking there is that it's a light that you can use for signaling or for visibility. So if you want to go ahead and you're out in the woods or shooting something, you want to come back and maybe there's a trail there or something like that, or a road nearby, you just want some visibility, you can pop that on there and people can see you. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Price on this, by the way, is 49 bucks, which some of you are like, oh, that's dang expensive, and it's GoPro Accessory. What do you expect? But there is this. So I picked this up for 25 bucks on, down there so you can see it, on Amazon.com. It's the most popular GoPro Light that I could find. But just to sort of give you some perspective, like when I looked at this online, I'm like, that looks about the same size as the GoPro. That's pretty small. And then you put this next to this. Let me turn this off, sorry. Then you put this next to this and you're like, oh crap, that's a whole different size there. So you're paying for size. Now, both of these are waterproof. Obviously, this is a heck of a lot bigger. So as you can see, there's options that aren't GoPro that are cheaper. For me, though, this light is pretty darn small. Okay, with that, I'm gonna get right into the samples. Most of the samples, as in almost all of them, I think, minus a few on the bike, were shot using the magnetic swivel clip on the GoPro Hero 3-way, one of my favorite accessories out there. I basically took it like this, and then I spun this around so you can see here, it goes up like that, and then I shot like this. You know, it's not necessarily the most eloquent apparatus situation, but it works. And then I would hold it out as you would normally would with the GoPro 3-way, similar like this, and it works great. So I'll link all this stuff below in case you're looking for exactly what I'm using here, but this is how I did most of those shots in the sample videos. Okay, here we are along the canal. It's dark out here. There's a couple streetlights further away, quite a ways away, but I think you'd agree with looking at this. This is pretty darn dark. Go ahead and add the first non-diffused light level right there, so that's the low level. Go ahead and increase it one more again. That's the medium level, and then we'll increase it one more time up to the high level there. So you can see right there, it's pretty blinding from my standpoint. Like, I'm not really sure what I would do with that. We'll go ahead and go down to the low level again. So go back through strobe, get out of that, down to the low level, and I'll add the diffuser plate in there. So there we go. Now there's a diffuse light at the low level. Go up to the medium. There's medium for you, and then one more time we'll go up to the high level. And from looking at some of the past footage, I'd say this is pretty much like spot on where you probably want to be, between medium and high, and with the diffuser seems to be like the best overall combination, but again, it'll vary by a little bit. There's the Triangle, by the way, the thunk thunk you just heard right there. And again, you can see how it's illuminating this area right here pretty well. Go back down into some of the lower ones, and kind of brings it a little bit there. Medium and high really fills that in. The same with the tree right there, but it's not casting too far. Like, you're not really getting that bench out there very much. There's no real appreciable change. If I turn this off, you'll see that it's basically the same on the bench. So that's about 3 meters away roughly. Note that if I take the diffuser off though, I do go ahead and manage to get all the way up to the bench. So it's off right now. Here is low, medium, and finally high is where we get illumination on that left hand side of the pole there especially, but really the entire bench. If I go back to off right now, you'll see that the bench gets a bit darker there. Okay, so here we are with the GoPro. The light is turned off right now. I'm gonna head down the street. The lighting is constant almost the entire way down. Go ahead and turn the light on, the lowest level. You can see now the interior of the cargo bike lit up. This is the diffuser on, by the way. This is the second level right there. And then we'll go ahead and go into the third level right there. Now the entire interior is lit up. Providing a little bit of spill beyond that. If I go ahead to remove the diffuser, we're gonna get past this little section of lights that just showed up right there. Alright, that's on a constant. So here we go, we're removing the diffuser now. You can see it really lights things up quite a bit, and then back into turning it off to see what that looks like there. And go ahead and 1 level, 2 level, and 3 level there. Just a bit of a simple example where you might use a light even when you think it's pretty bright. So right now I'm at the track, and of course there is these lights here around the track, you know, large kind of stadium style lighting. But from a GoPro standpoint, it needs a bit more light than that. So if I go and just turn on this light right here, get the first setting on, so that's the lowest possible setting right there, and then we'll go ahead and just go up one more there to the medium setting. And now it's fairly bright at this point. I'm using the GoPro 3-way stick here, so got it at arm's length, and then all the way to the full brightness setting there. Pretty darn bright there. I'm not using the diffuser right now. I probably could, but I got to dig out of my bag, and yeah, not really going to happen. So I decided to try to find the diffuser anyways, and this is where it is helpful to be able to have a light, look in my bag at night to try to find that little fuser piece, which I'm not sure I'll be able to find, to be honest. Still have to dig around and see if it's in here somewhere. Found it. Okay, got the diffuser out of the bag here. Right now it's on the lowest brightness level. Let's go ahead and stick that diffuser on. You can see just a little bit of brightness coming off that, but it's definitely much smoother, much softer light than it was in the past. We'll go to the medium brightness setting. There we go. And then up to the top brightness setting right there. And to me, I think that's probably, again, I don't actually see the video, I think that's probably gonna be pretty much spot on in terms of a little bit of that fill light, especially as I go into the shadows over here, kind of pulling out of this, and you can see that the light on me is still quite usable, the fact that I'm now in the shadows. If I go and turn off this light, just to kind of give you an idea what that looks like without it, there we go, and you can see quite a pretty big difference there without that kind of fill light on me here as I go further and further away from those lights. Okay, so there you go, a look at that stuff. I would say, like, for me, that was really loud. For me, I would probably stick this in my bag. Like, this is small enough, even with the swivel clip thing, to go ahead and just stick it in the bag and have it in my backpack for whenever I need it on trips and stuff like that. I'm not gonna use it all the time. I would say I would definitely use it with the diffuser the vast majority of the time, especially while lighting myself. I think without the diffuser, it's just really, really harsh light. So that's probably my preference there. I will note, though, that you're gonna lose this like a lot. I've lost it like 6 times in the last week, and I've always refound it, but eventually I'm not gonna refind it. I only found it because I'm going between 2 different places, the home and office, and it's gonna be between one of those 2 spots. And so that sort of sucks. I'd almost like screw a little hole in there and then tie it onto something and tie it onto this somehow, because or just glue it on there all the time, I guess. So there's that option. And obviously once the media mod is out, the idea that you just can go ahead and pop this off like this, media mod on it like that, and it looks kind of like that. Just maybe with a bit of electrical tape and, hold on. Okay, so there you go. That is what it's gonna look like when it's all said and done. Maybe not quite as Sketchville, but hey, there you go. So overall, I'd say for 49 bucks is actually a pretty decent bargain. As I said in the past, GoPro accessories are generally expensive. A lot of them are overpriced, but some of the ones that are a little more advanced, like the swivel clip, the 3-way, are usually worth the premium for the GoPro version, whereas some of the ones that are more basic, just like standard mounts and clips and things like that don't have a lot of extra functions to them, just buy cheap knockoffs somewhere else, because you're saving yourself some money. Anyways, hope you found this interesting. If you did, go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom there, or the subscribe button that's also down there somewhere else, and have a good one.